guys, welcome to Beard's Eye View, and this is going to be my spoiler-filled review for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yes, full spoilers in this video. Make sure you checked out the film before you check out my thoughts on this video. If you want my spoiler-free review and my star rating for this movie, check the eye above my head and you'll be taken straight to it. Spoilers all the way through here, guys. You've been warned. The fact that it's been 2 whole years, they closed that gap from Civil War up to this point, and the fact that it's been a complete house arrest, and Janet and Hank are pissed off because they're in trouble as well because he used their tech, so they're liable as well, part of the Segovia Accords, and they are pissed off, and when they see each other again it's only by the absolute necessary circumstances. And yeah, I mean, that's a good way to close the gap off. I think that works, and again, it's a good way they kind of got to rebuild this relationship they got in the last movie because of the things that he's done. So he's still treading the same water, but all the while trying to break new ground in a way, and it's interesting to the character. The Ghost character, as I said in my spoiler free, I didn't mind the character. It worked, but I felt like it was a bit of a kind of a nothing villain. It didn't really make me, you know, like that. But again, this guy, how are you going to beat it? But the Bill character being on her side, because they kind of threw a bit of a red herring when they met each other. It's like he was a bit of a dick to him, and they kind of got pissed off with each other, him and Hank. And then it's kind of like, oh, I hate his guts, and it's kind of like, right, they're pushing this too much, so it seems too obvious for him to switch onto the bad side, so I don't think it's going to happen. And then literally the next scene, it happens. He's on her side, Ghost is trying to stop this thing from happening, this phasing there, because it's killing her, and the only way she can do it is to have Janet from the Quantum Realm use her and phase her away so she comes back fully. And obviously Hank and the guys are trying to stop that from happening because they want to bring Janet back, and there is a chance that can happen. The weird thing about Scott seeing her in like a vision and a dream and that kind of stuff, and she's kind of controlling him, and it's really weird and fucked up, to be honest. It kind of makes sense when you're watching it, but trying to explain it is really difficult, and that's how they kind of know that there's a chance he's still alive, and they build this whole contraption. The whole point of it is they're building the contraption in their massive building that they can shrink down and take around with them and that kind of stuff. Ghost is trying to pick it up, take it away from them, and do what she needs to do. All the while this character called Birch getting involved with all these henchmen, basically trying to get hold of it because there's tech in there and he wants money. And yeah, the whole clusterfuck absolutely goes mental. I did like the entire chase scene, the shrinking and growing with all the vans and the cars and that kind of stuff, the bikes, the Pez dispenser, all that kind of stuff. All, you know, they're trying to basically get hold of the lab. It's really interesting because it's trying to get hold of a lab, a massive building that's just shrunk down to about this big, and it's using this technology, and it's a lot of fun to see on screen. I do like the fact that they kind of call on the fact of what happens when he goes big. Apparently when he went big in Civil War, he fell asleep for 3 hours after it because he was that knackered, and this kind of same thing happens again when he's trying to get hold of the lab from that Birch guy on the ferry. You see it in the trailers, he grows absolutely monstrous, gets it off him, finally gets back to the shore, and then pretty much passes out underwater. Wasp has to dive in and save him. So yeah, it does have an effect on you if you grow that big, because you know, imagine like the blood circulating around the head, and can it get around the body quick enough when you're this size? And it's stuff like that. The atmosphere would make a difference, I imagine. So yeah, it's good that they kind of address that. Hank going into the Quantum Realm, suiting up, getting in there, all the while with this entire chase is going on. Finding Janet. Again, I say that the Quantum Realm's beautifully made. It looks really awesome, and one thing I really liked here was when they finally find each other, and they just give that moment to the two of them, and just, you can tell how much they've missed each other. Just everything about that scene was beautiful, it was romantic, you know, it sounds soppy, but they really allowed that time to show how much they missed each other and need each other, and find, you know, this hopeless quest, and they actually managed to get Janet back, and it's a great moment. Captain America does get mentioned quite a lot in this film, and I think it's mainly in the first half, but it's the fact that Ant-Man's a massive fan, and it's just like he was off doing this thing with Cap, and it's just, it's good that he's kind of a fanboy, and they're just like not impressed at all. The monologue in speech with Michael Peña's character, oh, it was hilarious. It just, the whole thing, they were just giving truth serum. This whole truth serum thing is hilarious. They refuse to accept that it is. They're saying, yeah, it is truth serum, rubbish. And he tells the truth, he hasn't got a choice, he tells them they basically want to find out where Scott and the guys are, and he's going through an entire story of how he met Scott and getting up to this point, and it's hilarious, and he can't stop talking. It's like, they basically, it's like putting a quarter inside the keep machine, and you've just got to let it go, and it's brilliant. As I said in my spoiler-free review, it does end quite abruptly. You're in the third act and it's happening, you get Janet back, they're all back, and she's seeing Hope for the first time. This is family reunion type thing. Then Ghost appears out of nowhere, and then Janet kind of heals her somehow with some power she's gained in the quantum realm. They don't really explain it too much. It's kind of the same thing that he was using with Scott. I don't understand how it works. Healed her, and then that's the kind of the end of it. They all kind of get kind of a big team hug type thing. They kind of run out with all the FBI and everything, and they kind of run away and fake things off, and like this big suit that flops down, and they all get away. They get, and obviously all these FBI guys get back to Ant-Man's house, and just to find that he's still there, tagged away, because the whole time he's got to make sure he doesn't get found, because if he gets found then he has to spend like 20 years in prison. So every time that they have like a blip on their system, they have to run back to the house to check he's still there, and every time they're doing it, as I said, it ends quite abruptly. They kind of do that, they get away from the FBI, and then everything's all happy and done. He's away from his tag. They're all like happy that Hank and Janet have got their house out by the beach, and that was awesome. And yeah, and then it kind of ends with Scott, Hope, and then his daughter Casey, who's adorable about the entire film, in the van basically saying it's like he wanted a partner but he chose you, and that's pretty much it. It kind of just ends, and it's weird. It just ends quite so abruptly. I was expecting this kind of massive moment of something, and it's kind of like, oh, she's fixed, team thing, we're all happy, we're all back to where we were, job done. And it ended a little bit too abruptly for me. I did like the, before the end credit scenes, you know, you get all the whole Marvel Studios thing for naming off all the actors and everything. I did like the fact that all these characters were little figures in that scene. That was quite fun. The end credit scenes, oh god. Right, I'll get the last one out of the way first, because it is literally, you're waiting there. It's a little bit of a kick in the crotch, to be perfectly honest. You wait to the end, and it is literally the big ant playing on the drums, and that's pretty much it. That is a bit annoying, and it says Ant-Man will return, and then suddenly a question mark pops up. So I suppose that's kind of fun to a point, but they should have switched around the end credit scenes, because the mid-credit scene, oh good lord, dickhead. The three of them are standing there, Janet, Hope, and Hank, and they've got a mini kind of quantum machine thing, and Scott's out there, they're getting him back into the quantum realm to get this kind of stuff for the Ghost character to kind of save her. I don't know what it is they're doing, or maybe it helps her, I don't know. They're getting like something in a jar from the quantum realm. He gets in there, he gets it, and they're saying we'll bring you back in 3, 2, and then he hears nothing, and he's like, this isn't funny guys, this isn't funny. Pans back to them, dust, all completely dust, the three of them die in a snap, he's stuck in the quantum realm. Bollocks. I mean, oh, that sucks. I think I even shouted out, oh, for fuck's sake. That sucks. I mean, that really sucks for Scott, but it even sucks for us as fans, because we don't get Ant-Man and the Wasp in Avengers 4, or as far as I know we don't. I mean, it depends how they work things out, but at the moment, one of them's dust, the other one's stuck in the quantum realm. That sucks. Guys, overall, Ant-Man and the Wasp was a lot of fun at the cinema. It wasn't perfect, it had its problems, it did end quite abruptly. The mid-credit scene was just immense. But it was always going to be difficult after Infinity War, and you know, it was fun. I enjoyed myself. It was definitely worth a ticket because it is a laugh. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was enjoyable. So that's all my spoiler talk out of the way for Ant-Man and the Wasp. What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments, or send me an email. You can also find me in the various social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Tumblr. Just type in Beard's Eye View anyway, and I'm sure you'll find me. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share my videos. And I'll see you soon.